I'll make sure we're up.
Thank you, Auto White Balance, for chilling out. Yeah.
All right, seems like we are live.
Ooh, there we go. Live paintover for Patreon member.
I will. I gotta tweet it out.
There we go. I want the setting to be live chat, all messages visible. 78% battery on the phone.
I know, that's why I was like, I'm charging all my stuff. I'm like, is everything hooked up and got juice?
Yeah, I've got everything running at the same time as well. There we go.
Oh wait, let me. That someone's gonna like re-watch the replay. I'm always like, oh, I need like a regular like intro and clean up the start, because like people are gonna watch the beginning and it's always like some fumbling around, me being like, oh, this is hooked up, I think I got it, maybe I don't.
Well, we can sort of improvise one.
All right,
we can definitely improvise one.
Yeah.
Hello there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Martin. I am the Great Potato Mage. I'm also the video editor for Artists Empire. This is Scott. He is Artists Empire, and he performs a very interesting service for people on the internet. It's completely safe for work most of the time. He takes photographs of people's wargaming miniatures, isolates them from the background, and then puts them through Procreate Paint Studio, and basically just makes them look incredible, makes them look like they're something real as opposed to, you know, a small piece of plastic or resin on the tabletop. Our goal for the stream today is he's going to do a paint over of this miniature that was submitted yesterday. I can't remember the guy's name.
Wait, I'll do the cool little pop-up.
You do. Oh, you do the cool little pop-up. Yes.
And it was this one.
See, professional, member. Very professional. We had a Patreon member who submitted an awesome picture, which is a samurai fighting a Japanese oni or demon.
Do you know what miniature range this is at all? I'll have to.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's it. Z Fabian. Yeah, or Z Fabian. Yeah. I cannot tell you what the range is. I'm sure if he's in the chat, then he'll be able to. But yeah, it's a really cool miniature, and the photographs that you had of it wasn't the best photograph.
No.
But it was more just like a little thing that he threw it together like really quickly and tweeted it at you and was like, oh yeah, I can take better photographs if you want. But
it works
the way that he set it up.
It's a little shadowed and everything, but because of what I was going to do with it, I will get it to pop, and I think it's really going to work because it looks like he's almost coming out of stuff already, and I love the color scheme on this. So I just
absolutely
tweeted that out, so we should be. Oh, we do have a couple viewers.
You might get a couple of people. Well, one of them's me. Because I read the chat, and the other one's you. It's okay. Anyone who watches the video on demand, anyone who watches the VOD, they'll get the nice intro.
This is all I need.
Yeah, absolutely. This is all you need. Just me and you talking absolute rubbish the entire time.
I can practice hitting all the banners that I like so much.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
We could definitely press all of the buttons. I've got how many buttons have I got at the moment?
That's the joy.
I've got 14 out of 15 buttons.
I didn't know
in this one folder.
Yeah, I can have 9 people join video chat on this.
Ooh, lovely. Oh yeah, that makes sense because then it's like it's a 3x3.
Yeah.
And that fits like the 16x9. Like so long as it's an equivalent number of things. So it's like 1, 4, 9.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Like 16, 20.
Yeah.
I think 20. Yeah. Very fun. Very fun.
All I'm gonna do.
But yeah, this photograph of the demon, like the one that I really liked was the one where he did the picture of the samurai and then a little bit in front of it, like it was the samurai from the back and then a little bit in front of it was the demon from the front. It looked like this really cool face-off was about to happen. That one looked so good.
No, there's always some
really was like, ooh.
Yeah, I love the red and gold. And the banner on this one looks so cool because it's just got the red, but I like it because it's nice and dark, so it already looks like it's in shadow. And so it's just got this cool feel, and I can light it a little more, so it's really going to kind of like glow, So I see this, like, you know what I mean? It's going to have some cool lighting on it. Like, I love the gold cape kind of sleeves are going to look good on this. So and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to erase some of this now. So, I mean, what do we want to do some of the editing and talk about what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll run through my little spiel that I sort of roughly planned out.
Okay.
And we'll
At
go
least
from
someone
there.
did some planning.
Let's wait and see how it actually comes across before we actually, sort of like congratulating too hard. Looks like Wolf Lord Lewis is in the chat as well. Hey, hi, Lewis.
Hi,
Wolfie. Absolute regular. Oh, wow.
I know, which I really appreciate.
My son has brought himself a large drink.
He needs it for the stream.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a hard, thirsty job watching your dad just sit there and talk rubbish. So let's get into this. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to. Yeah, that's fine. Quick question from the wife there. So what I am going to do is pop over to our web browser camera. There we go. Now, some of this I have sanitized because, some of it is people's actual real names and sort of Twitter handles, and some of it is projects that we haven't quite agreed on whether or not that's going to happen. And some of it's like projects that we know is going to happen, but isn't going to happen yet. So I figured I'd cover everything over. But this is essentially where my workflow begins, working as the video editor. So I made this little Google spreadsheet sort of thing. And as you can see, we've got like working titles, paintover files, like actual video files, the raw thing that comes exported from your iPads. The JPEG file, artist name, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, website, any notes that we've got, etc. Just all of this stuff that I need for putting it into the credits.
All the stuff I put off too long?
Yeah, exactly. All the things that you don't do because it's boring, and I do because it's boring. See, eventually.
I got to put the name on this right now since I know who it is.
Well, there you go.
Moving on up.
We'll get you trained eventually. So what I've got here essentially is I did these two examples. So one of the old files that we did, brother versus brother, because that one was a paintover with two contributors. That's been sort of split over two lines. We've got the Underhive, which was the 40k modeler Jonathan. Fantastic miniature, terrifically creepy, and that's in there as well. That was sort of like the examples that I put in for both of us to follow, and then the rest of it, the ones that are in green, the ones that have worked, the ones that we've already put up on the channel. The red is one that I started, but unfortunately the video was corrupted. There was some sort of weird canvas size issue where the only way that I could actually get it to look the correct size on the video, it zoomed in so much it was really pixelated. It was like blowing up a 720p video to like 4K without any sort of like interlacing or any sort of like fixing or anything. So it was a little bit weird. It was very potato quality, but I'm sure we can fix that. These two in black are completely mysterious. No one's going to know what those are.
Oh, yeah.
And the yellow is what we're working on today, which is going to be the Kane Marine. Brother Kane,
I like that one.
The size of the Emperor. Fantastic piece. Yeah. So if you don't actually know what this is, for anyone who's watching along, like Wolfie, who has a tankard of Diet Pepsi, apparently, I've got a giant tankard of water. Yeah.
I have this morning's coffee still.
Oh, I'm a bit busy, Rowan, okay? Anyway. So what this was, Rowan, I'm busy.
Those little guys, they don't care.
I want this for dinner. Well, you
their
should have eaten some
persistence.
lunch, and then you'd probably be a little bit better.
Whatever, bro.
So yeah, there may be some interruptions on my end. I'm going to try and keep them to a minimum, but you know.
Oh yes.
Right. So there was the McFarlane Toys 1:6 scale Space Marines. There was like the Space Marines and the Necron Warriors. I think there's a Cadian Sergeant and a Sister of Battle that are in the works. But it was like this really big thing of there was like Ultramarine Intercessor, Salamander's Intercessor, a Imperial Fists Intercessor, and an Ultramarines Assault Intercessor, all in this 1:6 scale. So we're talking like, like a good like 12, 13 inches, like posable action figure sort of thing. And Chris Whitehead, this Tatters 1717 on Twitter, right. He took his, as many people did, pulled the entire thing apart, prepped it, spray painted it, painted it, did a little bit of freehand, put on some transfers, varnished it, etc. But he went that one little step further, and he took a bare head from a different action figure of the same, roughly the same scale, and put it on. And he swaps the heads in and out, so he can have his Marine helmeted or unhelmeted, and it looks incredible.
I'm trying to pull it up, and I'm like, I can't find
it. I've got it here.
So that's why.
So as a general, sort of part of everything that goes on, we whenever someone submits a picture through Twitter for free paintover day or anything like that, I put their details, their links in the credits of the video, which is what the AE filing system spreadsheet's for. So that I have it all here, and I can look at it and I can go, right, okay, this is what I need to paste in. This is where, like, the website that I need to put in. This is like the details, etc., etc. This is the person's name, so I can credit them properly. And as part of that, I always look at the Twitter feeds and anything else that they've got. So as you can see here, this is Chris's Twitter, and he's got a lot of stuff on there. Like it's not really loading at the moment because I've scrolled far too quickly. But there's an awful lot of stuff that he's got going on. His profile picture is the Kane Marine with, I think that's with some sort of like different filter over the top of it, because it looks very like posterized.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I like these are quite nice as well. These are nicely done. These nice. And then I've also got his Facebook, specifically the Facebook of this. So it's like his professional one, if you want to use that. And as you can see, we've got some of these wonderful pictures of the head in progress. So there's small casting errors that I'm sure he's working on. He's sort of putting on the washes and all of that sort of thing. And then we've also got the Instagram feed, which has the helmeted version, as well as here's the breakdown as he's working through painting it. Undercoat of grey, black, etc. So it's a fairly standard 1:6 scale miniature 1:6 scale action figure where it's got all of these ball and socket joints everywhere.
I'm gonna have to commission. I have 3 of them, and I'm not painting them. And I'm like, I want to commission.
Hey, you don't have to. Like everyone's hobby is different. It's all good.
Because I want one with a back banner on it. I want one of these McFarlane size figures with a fat back banner on it. So I'm like, I may just have to pay somebody one day.
I would say for that, what you want to do is you want to get some brass rod, which is very, very cheap. You'll find it in any railway, like toy railway store, like the scale models sort of thing. Plastic tubing, like a sleeve that will go over that. and you need possibly the greatest thing, a beer can. Because what you do is if you cut the beer can apart and you scrub it with isopropyl alcohol, that takes off sort of the exterior artwork. You can cut it into the shape of whatever flag that you want, and then you can either print something and stick it onto it, or you can like paint on it. So you can easily make a back banner of a fairly large size that you can bend into shape as if it's like fluttering in the wind.
Yeah, it's a good material.
It'll just stay in that shape. We've come on a very long way since the days of printing out back banners or getting like little stickers in boxes and having to like try and get them exactly right. What's Wolfie saying? I have no idea what those video editing terms mean, but I'm still interested. Good. Like this is the thing. Like I'm going to just explain what.
All I'm doing is I'm just erasing for right now. It'll be done soon enough. So I'm like, I don't think. And feel free to give us feedback. Like if it's annoying to have two screens and stuff like that. So you can always let us know in comments. We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah. A grey intercessor. Oh yeah, and the grey intercessors that you can paint yourself. So yeah, they actually did bring out an unpainted one that was specifically for painting, but obviously everyone was way too excited and just slammed in and bought whatever they could and stripped the paint, repainted everything. And Wolfie's, God, my Twitter must be a mess to look at then. A lot of role play mixed with the occasional normal non-role play post. Unless you're looking at your media page. Well, yeah, like everyone uses their Twitter for different things. I use my Twitter for, of everything, my Twitter is probably the thing that I use most for just everyday stuff. Like I'm constantly on there looking and browsing for news, sort of like replying to people. Like it's mostly hobby, I would say, actually, my Twitter. It's hobby and news and politics and all stuff like that. My Facebook is very, very rarely posted to, and then I have my business Facebook as well, and I barely ever use them. I know that I should use them, but I barely do. And my Instagram is just one of those things where it's either all or nothing. Like a few months ago, actually about a year ago, I was using it like every single day, twice a day, posting pictures of food and recipes and all this sort of stuff. And then just one day I just like, nah, I'm not going to use it anymore. You can see like I've got like notifications up here. Like I'm not exactly the most, popular person on there. Like one message and a few things. But yeah, what's going on, Rome? I see. You dropped a toy next to my phone.
I'm still not used to like Facebook. Like I have a Facebook business page, but I never even used a normal Facebook page or anything. So I'm like, okay,
it's one of those weird
with the stream switcher, you can stream to Facebook pretty good. And the one thing you can do on Facebook is you can bring the comments and flash them right on your screen. You know what I mean? So you can hear and stuff. I was like,
so
interesting.
You can do that with Twitch as well, and I think there's a way of doing it with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how to do that.
Oh yeah,
but I'm fairly certain there's a way of doing it, and also can find it. Which actually brings us on nicely to slightly more sort of physical thing, the slightly less cerebral part of video editing, which is the actual technical setup. So I know that you use iPads, you have the stylus, the pen, that sort of thing, and you've got your really comfy chair, which is why we don't see you, because I know you've got a bit of a hang up about you're constantly like shifting in the chair. Hey, let's go full screen. Yeah, so you're constantly doing this sort of thing, and putting your feet up and whatever. And I'm very much the same. Usually, I actually have this chair is fully ergonomically set up. Rowan, can you be quiet, please? Or if you want to play with that, go over there. Okay, well, quiet down a bit. Otherwise, I'll turn the cartoons off. He's just playing with toys.
He knows. He's like, my dad's doing something. He's like, I gotta mix it.
Daddy's doing something. It's time. Anime star eyes light up. Yeah, so this chair that I'm in is actually like, you know, ergonomic sort of thing. It's got the headrest and the backrest and everything's set up. What you can't see is I have a mouse pad attached to one arm.
Oh yeah, I remember you showed that.
So,
Yeah.
so it's exactly in the right spot where I can use the mouse in a comfortable, natural position.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if I want to, I've got a little extra brace for it. That if I ever want to use my Rowan, quiet down, please. I know you're not quiet. That's the problem.
He's letting you know, like, nope.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, I've got the brace. So if I want to, I can get my graphics tablet and I can put that in place of the mouse. And that it's at the right angle for me to draw on comfortably without like lifting my arm up and straining my shoulder or anything like that. So
yeah,
you know, it's kind of fun.
That happens a lot. That's why I have to adjust all the time. And that's why I've been like stretching more and more, because you hold it in just your one arm from drawing. My shoulder always gets so tired in the back. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
So it's like I have to like pause and get up and stretch it and do stuff, or else it'll start killing me. It's all goes into your neck and everything.
Yeah. Oh, connection to the server timed out. Oh, I lost my YouTube comments for a moment. Yeah, Wolfie says he enjoys there being two screens, and also I should have seen him when he was shifting all over the place. Yeah, like I've a little while ago I injured my back, which is why I have this, you know, like proper office chair with headrest and everything. Before I'd injured my back, I would definitely have just been like laid on the sofa or something, and like, you know, I actually have a live stream that I did, like a Q&A on my own YouTube channel about a year ago, and I was quite literally like sat cross-legged on the sofa. So every time I like shifted it slightly, the laptop and the camera just like wiggled all over the place because I didn't have anything stable or anything. It was incredible. Right, so let's go to the pictures. Yay! So this that you can see on screen at the moment, this is Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere is basically a really, really good editing software for video. I absolutely love it. It's the thing that I learned on when I was at film school. It's changed a lot since then. We are talking like, you know, over a decade ago. But it's a really, really good professional level video editing suite. It looks a bit confusing and a little bit weird, and there's way more than just this one screen, but you know, we'll get into that as it goes. What we're going to show next, this is my old phone, and I've got that mounted in a small holder next to the laptop, in quite a comfortable place for me to reach. Like the same sort of setup as the mouse mat. I can use it without lifting my arm or putting strain on my elbow, because you know I tend to flick back and forth through screens. It's running the Elgato Stream Deck software, which is around about €2, maybe like $3, something like that. From Google Play, and you program all of the buttons. So as you can see on the screen, there's all of these different things, like, you know, there's windows for assembly, editing, effects, the audio screen, the graphics design screen. I've got buttons for taking screenshots, for adding what we call black video, which is literally just like 5 to 10 seconds of nothing. Because if you leave the timeline blank, as opposed to having a video on there for it to play and record, then it can sometimes do weird things. So it's just safer to put black video in, and that's just a thing that you learn at any point. These four in the right corner there. Yeah, you're still working away. Hopefully my sound hasn't gone. These four buttons up in the...
I accidentally hit the mute button. So I'm like talking
that explains everything. So these four buttons, camera one or cam one full, workspace, tech diff, and web browser. These are all what we call scene changer buttons. I'm guessing it's very, very similar for you and your switcher that you've got, because you use a different program than I do,
but
because you can control it through. Yeah, you can control it through the iPad and while using Procreate and everything like that. So basically, like if we go cam one, that's the big screen, that's my face. Workspace is what we're actually going to be looking at in a minute, which is Adobe Premiere's Windows. We've got the web browser, which is what we were looking at a minute ago. We have possibly my favorite screen that I've ever made, which is the technical difficulty screen. Obviously, we have to. We have to use Windows 95. When I first set up for streaming, like this is the very impromptu sort of like streaming thing that we're doing today. Even though we had yesterday to set it up, I didn't make overlays. I have got overlays from previous when I was streaming before, where everything is set to look like I'm using Windows 95. Because why not, you know? And then finally we go back here and we've got the pictures window. What we're going to do now is move on to, whoop, there we go. So this is OBS. This is the streaming software that I use that makes everything work. This is just a photograph.
So I was wondering how that all went down, because you're controlling your screens, you know, independent of me doing it on Switcher.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is fun. Lewis says he would use a blue screen of death for technical difficulties. I mean, that is an option, absolutely. But I figure like someone sees a blue screen, they might think that something has actually gone wrong. Whereas if I put this, you know, if I put up my little technical difficulty screen where it says run panic.exe as the only option with don't panic grayed out, you know, that's kind of tongue in cheek enough that people will get it. So we'll go back here. This is, as I was saying, this is OBS. This is the Online Broadcasting Studio or Online Broadcasting Suite. I'm not actually sure what the three-letter acronym stands for, but I take it it's one of these things. And what it does, you have over on the left, you've got the preview window. On the right, you've got what we call the program window. That is what is actually being shown to everyone. The preview is sort of like for me to look at and mess around with, and if I need to change anything, I can do that. And then I can hit transition or a button on my Stream Deck, and it'll change to that picture and do everything. And you know, there's all these different transitions as well. Like, you know, you can cut, you can do fade, you can fade to black and then fade back in. It's got your sound controls for individual controllers, microphones. Yes. Okay, Ron.
I have some controls that'll let me transition, like, but I don't even know how to use them yet. I see that like the transition swipes I can do in here. I'm like, well, I'll get into that later.
Most of it is just messing around and trying. When I first opened this, I was confused as heck, but it eventually sort of like made sense that, okay, so you have a scene, and a scene is made up of multiple sources. So in the example, you can see Workspace is Premiere as the scene that's highlighted. That's, you know, what's in the preview there. And you can see that it's made up of, there's a text box, there's the microphone, there's the camera, and then there's the window capture of Premiere. And once you sort of get the idea that, like, if you're using OBS, you just like build it in that sort of way where you have these different elements and you put them in places, perfectly easy. Makes so much sense. It's wonderful. And Wolfie says he uses Streamlabs OBS, which is a slightly different version of OBS, but does essentially the same thing. Like I've seen tutorials on it, and it is slightly different. It looks like it gives you a little bit more control on certain things, but I don't know exactly what the difference is between the two, because I use this one, the other one's there. This is free. I think Streamlabs isn't, but I might be wrong. Anyway, so that's my full setup. That's how I do.
At least I learned something from that, because I didn't even know how you did it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if we can figure out a way of just like streaming exactly what's on your iPad screen, then we can see how you do it too.
Yeah, because I
But
use since I'm using that Streamlabs. I had Streamlabs at first, and I think because it was just on the iPad, I was having that issue connecting with it. Like I liked it, but it kept dropping out, and I didn't know. You're going through that, and you're trying to use the iPad. Plus, it's connecting to YouTube, so there's like 3-4 steps involved. And so I tried this one, and it ended up working. So I just stuck with it for now.
Oh, hey, if it works,
That's it.
shrug. All right, so let's get into this, shall we? So you've been working away, and you've been getting on with stuff.
I
I think
got the
it looks
background. I
like
got
you've
the
got the
background
background out.
done, and I got a little
Yeah,
highlighting done, just to sort
very
of bring the
nice.
character out. And then I'm going to try to figure out, what I'm going to do with it now.
Very,
I
very
got
nice.
some of it like the way I want it, but now it's kind of like tied into the background and stuff like that. So this will be a lot of undoing and erasing for a little while.
Cool. Well, we'll see where you get to and what it all looks like. So this is Adobe Premiere Pro 2020 in actual fact. And this is what we call the assembly screen. Yes, right, just a moment. Oh, there you go. This is the wonderful thing about having stuff like just working from phones and screens. You can just
Yeah.
press buttons and make stuff happen in the rest of the house. Excuse me. So this is the assembly screen. If I show off by pressing a whole bunch of buttons on my little controller, we can go to the editing screen. It takes a second to flick over, but it does it. We can go to effects. I think. No, that might not be. No, it's taking a while. Yeah, it's having a think. Yeah, so this is one of the problems with having like lots of things running all at the same time. So this is the effect screen. It looks complex, but it's really not. We've got audio screen as well when that eventually comes through. I'll just click that. It hasn't quite caught up with itself yet. There we go. So there's the audio. And we've got graphics too, which everything looks the same but slightly different. And that's very, very useful because it all does different things. And as we get into actually like running through a video edit, we'll get into that and we'll sort of see what each different screen is used for and why I flick back and forth between them so much. But to start with, what we're going to do is go to the assembly screen and look through what's called the media browser, this little tab here. And that's going to give us all of the files on my computer. I'm not going to show you all the files on my computer because I have a couple of favorites here. So, for example, in the Artist's Empire folder in my hard drive, I've got audio, completed edits, stills, and video. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull in all of the files that I usually use for putting together a bog standard Artist's Empire video. Stuff that I've already put together and made, but that we pull in and change around. And also like the raw video from your iPad, like what you worked on and exported.
Yeah.
So go into video and you can see here all of the raw videos that I've worked on, and also I've labeled them as done when they've been worked on. So Kane is all the way down here, and is that one right there. So we're going to click and import him. We're going to go back into the media browser, complete the edits, and we're going to bring in the AE intro.
Dun, dun, dun. I know. You know what?
Which will eventually sort of pop up. Yeah.
I got to get the clip of that because I can play that little intro right at the beginning of this because I can have independent videos. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so this little like
think about that. That's kind of cool.
I'll bring in the 16-second one, like the slightly longer one, because
Yeah, for sure.
we agreed to do 2 separate ones, didn't we? We did like a little 5-second sting where it just said like Artist Empire, and then like cut straight into
to
the video.
mix it up.
And then we've got this slightly longer one which has like the like, share, and subscribe call to action.
Yeah, I like that one. That was really cool.
And then go into stills. We want to pull in the end card for YouTube. Because all we want, here's a fun little one. The need thumbnail. So this is my little placeholder that I use when I need things from other people. So if I'm waiting on a still image from you, hello.
Oh boy.
Just put them in a bowl or something. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, so if I'm waiting on, if I'm waiting on stuff from a client, if I'm waiting on things from you, if I'm waiting on like extra footage being recorded or anything, I can rough together an edit and drop that sort of thing in. So then I know that, when it comes to exporting the video, when I do my little playthrough and see what everything looks like, tweaking it, I can see that I'm missing pieces, which is, useful. So I did bring in the end card, I do believe. So now we'll go to audio. Now, we've got a lot of audio, an awful lot of audio.
Really?
So yeah, we do. This isn't the full screen. So in here, in Troy Sterling Neese's folder, this is every single track that we have permission to use from Troy.
I like his music on the paintover.
It's really good.
I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna have to look for a few other people who maybe want to put get some music on there or whatever. But his stuff, it kind of really fit the mood. I was glad
absolutely. It's really, really funky stuff. So what I need to actually do, because I never know what song I want to use before it's in there.
Yeah.
So I just import every single song.
Sounds like me. Put everything in.
And then I put them into what we call a bin audio. There we go. And then we can click that and hide it because it is very, very difficult to get anything done when you've got all of those things going on. And then the one shortcut that I actually do now, which gives us this. This is the new sequence button, and all of this is a bunch of stuff that means something to some people, not very much to anyone else. All we basically need is something like this. Like you can make custom video files, put in your own descriptions. So as you can see here, I've done the very basic thing, literally just a normal 1920 by 1080p workspace. If you could hand it to me, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. It's dinner time here in Germany.
Oh yeah, it's like, what are you having? What are you gonna have?
Well, as boring as it is, I've got some fries.
Wait, what in fries?
Just fries. Just fries. Okay. Nothing else. Just fries.
Do you
just
dip
boring.
them in anything? Do you do ketchup? Or you do mayonnaise like they always say?
Oh yeah, like we're not savages. Of course, we've got things to dip them in. I just don't have them here because I haven't grabbed anything.
No.
We've got this fantastic stuff over here in Berlin called curry ketchup, and it's literally it's ketchup with curry like curry sauces and curry spices in, and is a mainstay of German takeout. Because if you ever have a currywurst, that's what they put on it, basically. It's just spicy ketchup. It's really good. Hi, Dexter. Come on then, cat. Yes, he is very cute. He's also an absolute terror. This is Dexter. Dexter likes being famous. Let's keep there you go.
He wants the spotlight.
Yeah, loves the spotlight, or in this case, two spotlights because I've got two of them on the go. Yeah, so all this stuff within the cat stole my water. Fantastic. Let's just. Yep, this happens more than I care to admit. All these different presets mean various different things. Like NTSC is probably going to make a lot more sense to you guys over in America. Because that's the main format that you had back in the old day with VHSs.
Back
Whereas
in the VCR days, I remember.
yeah,
I still remember. I used to go rent a VCR to play movies.
yeah, the really old school, like, oh
Yeah.
god, nah. Oh man, I remember, sort of like way back, like we had a VCR eventually, but it was the Commodore 64, like
Yeah.
like waiting for the tape to play so
Yeah.
you could play a video game. Well, yeah. So all of these different things is literally just like what the export format will be. So you've got like ARRI and stuff like that. So digital SLRs and everything. Like I haven't played with any of these. Half of these things didn't exist when I was in film school. I haven't got a clue. Like the most that I can do is I can do this 1920 by 1080p thing. I can work on an Instagram video. These things are okay. I can do that. I can kind of figure out like DV24p because that's a really old TV format. And beyond that, the only thing that I know is ARRI. And I don't really know ARRI. The only time that I ever did any editing with ARRI stuff was we had a really old Steinbeck editing machine, which is that old reel-to-reel thing.
Oh yeah,
And you
that's
used
old
razor
school.
blades and sellotape, like sticky tape, to cut out sections that you didn't want, put them back together, and then you would send off for treatment to have a new reel made by a printing company that would copy it and put it out, so you didn't have like weak points in the video. So yeah, it's been a while, let's say. Now, I'm going to name the sequence down here in the bottom. Now, I always have this very, sort of strict labeling that I learned way back in the day, and it's not difficult. Anyone can do it, but I always put year, month, day.
We typically do it reverse here, but I do that on
Yeah,
my files to
you
save
guys
because
you
it
guys
saves
do
them
it
in a better
month,
order.
year, day, or day, month, year, like which always confuses me. But because I've got a lot of stuff from like previous years, and I like having everything like laid out in a very like organized sort of like it's here, it's done. I do it year, month, day because then it keeps it roughly in timeline order. So I know if it's something that I worked on like a month ago, I need to go like mostly to the bottom of the screen if there's a whole bunch of videos. But whatever filing system works for you and whoever's working with you is totally fine. Go for it. I'm going to call this one Brother Kane. Why not? Right. And now it's done things.
Oh, wait, Wolf Lord Lewis says I'm currently working on Assault Intercessor with Wolfen bits.
Nice.
Are the intercessors? They're not. Those aren't the ones with the jump packs. Which?
No. So intercessors are the assault intercessors are your basic Space Marine troops with heavy bolt pistols and Astartes chainsaws. If you get the Indomitus box, that's the troops that you get, the Space Marine troops that you get out of there.
Okay.
But he's putting on Wolfen bits, which the Wolfen, if it's the original Wolfen kits, like the metal ones from back in the 13th Black Crusade,
yeah,
awesome. Because those models are really funky. Like it's the sort of the the space wolves that are falling to the curse of the wolfen and becoming werewolves.
Yeah, those are
It's really cool.
You could do some great conversion stuff with those too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I can't drink my water because the cat's been drinking it. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's going to be a fun little project. Like he does some pretty good stuff, does Wolfie? Like you know,
I'm gonna be painting over what's the ship he posted? That thing was cool.
Oh,
he's got one photo that has like the perfect angle for that ship. So I was like, all right, that'll be a good one because it'll be like whipping through the clouds, and so it'll be a good one.
Nice. Oh yeah, the new plastic ones. I don't have the spare money to source the old metal. To be honest, not many people have the money to source the old metal ones. Believe me, I know.
Gosh, it makes me sick. I had all that stuff and I don't have it anymore after moving a few times. I was like, oh man, I could have had it like
disappears.
It had a bunch of old school stuff.
So it's taken me 22, roughly 22 years. Because I've been collecting for a while. I've been collecting and painting for 22 years, on and off. And only in the last 6 months did I ever buy the white whale kit that I wanted back in the day.
Oh, that's
which
funny.
was the old Juan Diaz sculpted demonettes, like the metal ones from way back in the day.
Yeah.
Because they changed the design and went to plastic and stuff, and it's this interesting bit of Warhammer history where they sort of embraced the fiction for the demonettes and rolled with it, and they were really iconic sculpts. And I know that they've got this really like weird sort of weird position as well, where it's like, okay, it's miniatures for a tabletop war game, but there's breasts, and there's like, you know, it's like it's partially nude women. I understand that, but they're probably, like, ironically, they're probably the closest human proportion sculpts of that sort of thing that Games Workshop or any fantasy miniature company has ever done. I mean, usually you're looking at, you know, ridiculously comically out of proportion female bodies on everything. There was 54 millimeter scale military like statues that I found the other day on this store that I look at, and it was like military uniforms of various different, you know, different squads, different people, that sort of thing, but they were really buxom women.
They're like really tight uniforms.
Yeah, it was just so weird to see. It's like,
crop tops,
what is
like
this? So, you know, like basically the mainstay of my Demonettes army that I'm going to be working on is the plastic kits, which don't really have that. They're a lot more androgynous, a lot more like, you know, the sort of like visceral horror sort of style of demon. But I managed to luck into six.
Wow.
Out of 60, I want to point out, 60 Demonettes that I have, I've got 6 of the old Demonettes, and they're going to be squad leaders because I can't afford to buy any more of them. I lucked into those 6, and it cost me 50 bucks.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Usually, you buy 3, and it's around about 100, but someone on this
label... That I did not know. Oh, my gosh.
Very, very expensive. Very expensive. And those things used to be like
says looking good, my friend. Thank you very much for swinging by the stream. We're just kind of impromptu. We have a little time to plan, but
impromptu talking rubbish.
Mal he's doing some editing while I was just working on this, so we're kind of split screening. I didn't know if split screen, like how you guys feel about 2 people at once, like if you can just not see either or how it works out. So if you have any feedback on that, make sure to let us know.
Can I? Is it in editing? I think it's in editing. Yes, editing, new black video. Whoop, there we go. That's how. It's trying to remember where I keyed buttons to. some of them are in very
I'm
odd
trying
places.
to figure out how I want to do this ground, and I'm like, I don't know if I should have light behind this. I'm going to try to figure him out. I like the little ghostly effect I have kind of going on, because I was like half. I don't know what his deal was. It looks really cool, this sculpt. So I'm trying to like get into that mode, and I just got to figure out some good lighting for the scenery around him that makes him pop. We'll get there.
I'm always a fan of ethereal glow.
Yeah, I dig it.
Or you know, everything's bright apart from like directly around the mini, as if it's got like some sort of like cloud of darkness, like shroud sort of thing around it. Yeah. Dear. Well, whereabouts were we with stuff? Oh yeah, yeah. So I was basically at this point where I'm dragging stuff onto the timeline here. So I mean, I don't think this is going to play the audio, but just in case, be warned. So we've got our intro that runs, which is the Artist Empire intro. It does this graphic, all of the hang-ups, like describe, and then cuts to black. Then I've got the little black video segment, which is just to give me a little break in between, and then we get into the paintover video. So now I've got that set up, and I know roughly what I'm going to be doing. I don't think putting anything extra on at the moment is going to make too much of a difference. We can get into that later. So let's bang into editing. And as you can see, now I've got a much bigger picture of what the video looks like, what Kane looks like, as well as I've still got, up here like the rest of my stuff. I can drag stuff in, add stuff to the timeline, whatever. Got my audio levels down the bottom there. But what we're going to do is pull back right to the first couple of frames of the video, and then we're going to hit screenshot, and that's going to give us another sort of like a PNG up here. I can't remember if it's JPEG or a PNG. I think it's a PNG. And that's this completed screen. So we can then flip back to that later. Yeah, there we go. So PNG. Whoop. So now, this is the thing that I noticed about. Yeah, like everything is magic. And everything is magic. Like it's always this weird thing where you're like, okay, like this and then this and then this. I can see what Artist Empire is doing, and I wouldn't have a clue where to begin with that. Likewise, everyone's looking at what I'm doing and going, what the hell?
I know, and I wanted, like, it's something I probably would have enjoyed, but I don't know what it is with like not retaining the same information. So it's like harder for me to grasp all the programs now than it was when I was way younger or something. You know what I mean? Like, so I have to like really ingrain it. That's why I even just
old age comes
live
for us all.
streams, I have to go through all the button presses and just go through it a bunch of times so it becomes second nature. And it's like with the programs now, it's like, man, I have to like practice so much just to get used to them, you know?
Yeah, I know the feeling. I really do. Like, you do not want to know half the things that I've had trouble with. Yes, Rowan. Yeah, I know. Just a moment. Okay. There we go. Right. Yeah, it's always just what you get used to. I went to film school for this, but that was like over a decade ago. Coming into it nowadays, like when I loaded everything up and started, it took so much effort to actually figure out what I was doing and relearn. Wait, Dexter. Yeah, it took me so long to relearn what I was doing because everything in Premiere had changed, basically. Like, some of the basic tools stayed the same, but a lot of it, nah, completely beyond anything that I knew what I was doing. There we go. So it's, like, everything's got a learning curve. It's just getting used to it.
Very true.
Yeah. Rowan, can you push Dexter away from your food, please? Thank you. Cat's trying to eat sausage.
They appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll pull that down to 3 seconds. Yeah, I like, everyone learns at different paces. It's stuff that you're trying to, sort of get used to again, or learn for the first time. It's what you do. Live chat, show me everything. There we go. Yeah, like streaming. Like you're saying with streaming and stuff. Like, it's new to you. It's new to me. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, but I'll still try.
I figured, well, I'll just do it while I'm drawing and then figure it out along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where are we? We've got our. Yeah, I don't mind so much that this little sort of. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll actually cut that drop as it changes. Around about half my editing work is just finding, like, points where you flip between screens, like apply layers and unapply layers.
I will kill
just to make
somebody
it
if I
safe for
post
anyone
the
with.
full video. They will seizure out with that for sure.
Yeah. So we can sort of roughly go through, because I haven't actually seen this paintover either. I haven't watched you do it. Okay. So there's a bunch of stuff on the go. Yeah, okay, so we can. Yeah, okay, so around about here, I'm going to put a cut in there. I'm going to. Yeah, there's a little bit there as well. That's the movements there.
I think I got something going on with the smokiness of this one. Good. I'll be able to work with this. There's always a point where I'm always, like, panicking and don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, is this? I don't know, and then I fight through it.
Yeah, I like, again. Like, you know this as much as I do, and most miniature painters as well. Sometimes you just have to get in there and mess around a bunch. I'm sort of going back through this section here, and so my decision making here. You're looking at your smoke and sort of like, is this working? Is this not working? That sort of thing. I'm looking at this and going, right, okay, so this is sort of general, everything's going on, everything's moving until it gets to this little point here, and then you focus a lot on the, you see those little sparks at the top there?
Yeah.
So you're starting to mess around with, what's going on in the top. But then you decide to sort of, like, flick it off. I'm not entirely sure why. I'll sort of, like, take it there, and we'll remove that bit where you decide against everything.
I put it in there and I'm like, no.
Yeah, so we'll put it in just because it's a nice little bit of visual interest, and then when it pops out, we skip. Oh yeah, there you go. So you actually, like, turned it off and turned it back on again. So if I take it off just before you take that layer off, there we go. So we'll cut off here so that there's no flicker on it. Delete.
That makes a big difference in those videos, I notice. Like, that makes it look smooth and not so choppy, me flicking everything on and off.
Yeah. So yeah, because we got this little section at the top where you're doing this like, really close detail work, and then you go from there and you start working down the bottom on the helmet and everything. I can zoom in on those sections and skip around the screen a little bit so we can see a lot more of the detail of where you would zoom in a lot to do the details. We can zoom in just as much. And then after this point, you start going into, sort of like working on the overall sort of thing again.
Yeah.
And you add another couple of layers, smoke, that sort of thing. That's perfectly fine. So we'll cut back to like big for that. And then you start doing glow with the eyes and a little bit more in the mouth guard and the grill. Yeah. So yeah, this entire section we can keep as. No, yeah, that's it. Like all of this bit is full, sort of like exterior detail sort of stuff, like your ambience, which is wonderful. Because there's been a couple of times like that. You remember the video that you did for Luke Skywalker on Hoth?
Oh yeah.
And there was a fair few bits where you were chopping around, like, okay, I'll focus on this bit.
What's funny is I try to put it in my mind. I'm like,
smoke, and then I'll go in on this bit again, and then
yeah,
smoke.
I go all over the place. I'll work on a big section, then be like, oh, maybe I should put a little something right here. And yeah, I'm trying to like, I don't even know. It's like because a lot of times I do that because I guess I don't know what's like clicking or not. I'm like, oh, I think something's there, but what is it? Does it need to be brighter or darker? And then I start flicking around to try to figure it out.
Well, it's fun. I like it's kind of like me with miniatures. Like I tend to go back and paint extra details on like 2 or 3 bits, and then remember there's a part on like on the back of the miniature that I wanted to do something with. So I'll turn it around and do that bit, and then I'll like come back like 3 paints later and go, oh yeah, I forgot that bit, and do another bit. I like go back to like paint from like a week ago that's still liquid. Yes, Rowan, what can I do for you? You want more? Well, there isn't any more. You need to eat the rest of the things that are on your plate because there are no more of what you've eaten. No. You need to eat what's on the plate. You need to eat the sausage and the blueberries. Can't just eat the fries.
The sausage is
fries are a special thing. Yeah. The joys of parenting.
Can't have it all, kid.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that point at some point, I guess. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That is looking pretty good. I like what you've got going on. Right, let's get into this. So, as we were saying, this little bit where you're working all around the collar, we're going to zoom in on that. Let's do some scaling. It's 250. 250 is a little bit too much. Whoops. Drop down 200. Lovely. And that one. There we go. So let's do that. And then we know, right at the beginning, we want, okay, 896, 200. So let's reset those. Add our little animations in. And then we want to about here. Yeah, that's where we want to go. 200. 895. There we go.
Florida Viewers, should be a couple pics of those assault intercessors in the whip section of the Discord now. Yeah. Oh, all right. I'll have to check those
nice.
out.
Well, there we go. So now, because Premiere renders within itself as it's doing stuff, we should be able to see what the effect of that little scale messing with is. So here we go. Here's the video. Whoop, and we zoom in real tight and real quick. There we go. Lovely. And then I think what we'll do is for this one, do 200. We want to go the opposite way, so 400. Maybe a little bit less, 350. There we go. And that'll do that. Beautiful. And we flip back. So we can figure out transitions between everything later, but that little zoom in is quite nice. Maybe about here. No. No, I think we can do a transition on that. Or maybe it'll line up nicely with some music cue. That usually is how it goes. Some sort of big
Yeah,
crash on a bass,
that's
and
one
then it
thing I
pops back.
notice like about video, like really hitting the music cues is what like this just adds such a huge element to it. Like I look at a paint over, I'm like, oh okay, that's kind of cool. And then when I see you add all the editing and the music, it's like, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like it's a lot of fun figuring it out. I'm actually going to take another screenshot of this. Do this. Yeah, like lining up the music and stuff. Like what I usually do with the music is I'll pick a song from Troy's list that actually works.
Yep.
And just feels right. It doesn't need to be exactly right. It just needs to feel
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
And
Directionally right.
preferably not one of the ones that I've used like 6 or 7 times, because there's a few that are just really, really good. And once I find one that like sort of fits and is roughly the right sort of length, it might be a little bit long, might be a little bit short, whatever. Then I'll try and mess with the actual speed of the video and make it work with the visuals. So something like this, like the Space Marine, like something like Marshall, something maybe with a little bit of horn, but also he's in the middle of a battle, so something a little bit crunchy would probably be quite good, you know? So we've got our rough edit. It doesn't look like there's much, but we know what we're doing, I think, and we can work from there.
That sounds like a lot like me. It's like I think so. Maybe I could pull it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this is one of the things that I always have with video editing is it doesn't look like you're actually doing much, but it's one of those things where it's like you need to have the person that knows what they're doing to make it look like it's not doing much.
Yes. No, that's it too.
Otherwise, you've got people like hunting around, like trying to find a whole bunch of things. Like if I didn't have these buttons that I programmed in, most of this would have taken me ages. If I didn't know like the 3 or 4 shortcuts that I know, I would probably have been like hunting around for buttons, getting annoyed because I couldn't find them, all that sort of stuff. And now when it comes to like like putting on effects and everything like that, like I know what I'm doing, and I can make it look pretty decent. But whoa. Oh, the music chosen for the Blightwing model was spot on. Yeah, that like the Blightwing was awesome. just picking that, like,
I love.
yeah,
That was Daz Dillinger again. I love his Nurgle stuff. There's a couple of them,
yeah.
and he gifted me some of those models. And that reminds me. One of them, I think he had a flamer on it, and it snapped off in when he shipped them to me. I have to take a picture for him. I got to do a yeah, good call. So that was a reminder. See, the live streams come in handy because they help me remember things like that. Yeah, I got to get him a picture of that.
Do we do a cross dissolve, or do we do something else for that transition? If we do something other than a dissolve, we need to render. Slide iris. You know what? Let's do iris diamond in between those two. Why not? Whoop. Yeah, that's decent. Daz Dillinger. Or Daz. Daz. There we go. That's not too bad. That's maybe like 20 frames of rendering at the end. It'll probably take way longer than I
Oh,
think it will.
that's why he's DD06. He's. I see. I can't tell. I need icons and what. Hey, thanks for checking it out. He reminded me I could get you a picture, so thank you.
Yeah, do cross this off. Yeah, very nice. Okay, cool. Cool. And then I think what we'll do. Intriguing. What I'm going to have to do is listen to a couple of these songs and figure out what's going to be good.
Works.
Yeah, but that's fine because I don't think it's actually playing sound from my computer. Like it's playing my microphone, but it's not playing.
Yeah,
You
Daz,
know.
what are you doing? Any working on any miniatures lately? Are you working on anything right now? It'll take the audio a second to catch up.
Yeah. No, yeah, like so it takes audio from us onto the thing a few seconds to catch up, but then also we need to then read the comment, and then there's a delay between when we actually read it, when it pops up for us, and when it actually comes up in this call, or when we react to it in the call. I think it's only like about a half second or something between me saying something and you hearing it
Yeah.
because of the distances involved. But like, it's like, oh yeah, it's like 38 seconds delay or something. I have a feeling I keep using doomed objective for stuff.
I've seen that one a couple times, I think, as a song name.
Or is it Doom Out of Space? No, it's Doom Out of Space that I keep using. Yeah, this might be the one actually. This was a good sort of
And let us know how the like the split screens and everything are going. If that's like if you guys are okay with the split screen or it's annoying. DD606 says I'm currently making the new Artel with orcs. They are massive.
Oh, the new Artel orcs. Yeah, yeah. Nice.
I'm always I never I've owned some orcs but never like put them together in an army. But I was always a big fan of them. They look so darn good. Like just I love how everything's like kit bashed together or whatever. You just slap everything on them and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I loved about the what you call it the mecha squigs that I was doing because it was quite literally just like, oh yeah, like I'll mess around and do a thing and started building these mechanical squigs, and then
I
it came
haven't seen
to
any like that's like that was a great idea in my book. That thing
yeah,
looks so cool.
yeah, I'm quite proud of myself. And then it turns out there's a whole bunch of like squig enthusiasts on Twitter who are also like, these are really good. Like I've gained more Twitter followers in the last like 3 days since I posted those pictures than I have in the last like year. So, like I'm starting to appear in like follow Fridays and stuff, which is odd. Because, for someone who doesn't use Twitter all that much to actually say anything.
You know what? That's the majority of my stuff is all on Twitter, and then I do a lot of I check out everyone's models. That's why I'm always like looking. I don't. I mean, I guess I post a couple times a day. You know what I mean? But I'll leave more comments and that kind of stuff because it's just not. And I have to get over it. It's not natural for me to always be like, "Hey, look at my art. Hey, check this out. Hey, here's what I did." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
it's
I almost get like I
yeah.
get over myself. Like, oh God, we get it. You do paint over. Stop already.
Yeah. I felt like that when I started doing the, like, what my original thing was, what my original thing is, basically, because I started doing I started, like, sort of like making videos tracking weight loss, like, like a vlog
Yeah.
sort of thing, like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit healthy, like, lose a little bit of the tubby belly and all of that. And I actually did, like, fairly well, but like the silly thing that I did was I said, okay, I'm gonna do like a video at the end of every single day, like a video diary sort of
Yeah.
thing. And man, that was one, a lot of work, and two, I felt like such a weirdo doing it. Because, like, the last thing the internet needs is yet another mediocre white man telling them things. And here's me just being like, yeah, I had a pretty good day today. I took my son to the park. Yeah. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You ate a sandwich and some potatoes, you weirdo? Like, come on.
That
Ah,
reminds me. I got a we can put there I can put 2-minute vids on Twitter, and I can
yes.
use this switcher stream to have like two screens, and I can record it all on that. So I was like, I'm gonna try to do like some 2-minute lessons. I was like, oh, I can do up to 2 minutes. So I tried it yesterday. So I'm gonna try to do many, like, just art concept or how I work on it and break down the process and release some of them
Yeah,
as
that'd be
tweets.
pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Daz DD606 finished assembling the Killburster yesterday. Was back in stock for about a week. Was lucky to grab one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know, and that's
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
noticed that I haven't been up to speed on, like, the purchases or whatever, but it seems like there's a lot of, like, sometimes it'll be in stock and you got to get certain things and then it's out right away,
Mm.
which I understand with the whole current situation going on.
Yeah, like, what is it the Games Workshop stock has boosted by since beginning of lockdown?
Oh yeah, I
Something
didn't
like
even think into that.
90% increase or something
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. It's like, oh yes, of course,
Yeah, that's
makes
true.
perfect sense. Yeah, you've finished using the potty. Wonderful. I might have to throw up the technical difficulties screen.
You're welcome to. I can mute you if
Yeah.
needed.
Well, what I'll do is I'll run this just through. I'll go onto the editing screen. I'll do like a little preview sort of playthrough because I'll be away from the microphone anyway. So I'll mute it,
Okay.
run this, and then you get a rough idea of what's going on basically and where we are currently. Oh yeah, Wolfie says Games Workshop is worth more than the British fishing industry. Yes, I remember seeing that. Thanks, Brexit.
Hey, they're good miniatures.
They are very good miniatures. Oh man, yeah. There's a reason I live in Germany now.
I
Right,
could. I
I'm
was
gonna go deal with this, and I'll be back in a second.
right on.
Just a tick.
I was like, I had some of those other live streams, and talking. Oh, ambulance, real quick. I was talking to them, and when I was a kid, you didn't have access to like a GW store anywhere near me or anything. So it was I'd hear those stories from the people who live in the UK, and they're like, oh, I would go over and get this, and then meet here, and they all these awesome events and everything, and I'm like trying to relive my childhood by listening to them. We didn't have all that fun stuff. I dig the samurai. I think he came out pretty cool. I still don't know what miniature range it is. I have to get that before I do a vid of this one and post it because I really dig it. Let me see here. He's doing that. I'm going to let this run as a time lapse real quick. I know, it's crazy. Like, Games Workshop was such an obscure little company, back in the day, and to see it grow so huge. I mean, I get it because it's the same reason I liked it, like a lot of other people liked it, but it's just amazing how big it can grow in that little time. And thanks for watching with us, and thanks for the likes. I have a lot to learn about streaming, so I'm going to be trying a bunch of things. I'm probably going to end up doing it like 3, 4 times a week. I got some interesting people lined up to come on too, so it's like, I don't know. To me, I would have to get used to carrying it all by myself as far as like what to say, what to talk about, and I have some ideas on that, but I definitely got to practice a lot. So it's kind of nice that you guys come along for the ride. DD606 Games Workshop store were where moms left their kids so they could shop in peace in the 90s. You're so lucky. We didn't have none of that. I had to go with my parents. Fam Z still really want to see a GW TV series. I would take. You know what? It's the same. I always wonder if they like the do it justice, because to me 40K is so gritty and so like over the top, and I really want to see it, but I don't even know if TV is ready for it yet. I always picture those. That's what I always wanted to. That those huge epic battles. Some of the what is the video game I really like that a lot of their cutscenes are really good. It was the RTS version that I really liked, and some really good cutscenes in that direction. I wish they would like do some animated series, that way. That would be incredible. Probably soon enough they'll do it. Like they keep having more and more success, so I'm sure they'll try new things always.
Hello, I'm back.
He's back.
So, I am back. Yes, that's right. So, fun things to talk about, because yes, it's a wonderful car, Rowan. Like, come on, do your thing. Daddy's doing his. Yeah, so a couple of fun things to talk about, because headphones are wireless, and while looking after my son, I can just, hear what's going on.
Yeah.
You remember the Krypton factor?
Wait, say that again?
Do you remember the Krypton factor?
No, Dawn of War. That's it, Wolf Lord Lewis.
So Krypton factor, as far as I remember, Krypton factor was meant to be like a game show sort of thing, where like people would get put in a room and have to do a task, and then like the end of it was like something. Is that right? I don't remember what the name of it probably was in America.
Oh, Fear Factor. Fear Factor?
Fear Factor, yeah.
Okay,
Like, whatever it is, where you have a team of people and you lock one of them in a room and they have a set time limit to do a thing, like a physical task or whatever, solve a puzzle, and then they get bonuses at the end of the show.
That's different from Fear Factor, but I get it, yeah.
Yeah. So, if anyone from the UK or who might have watched it on like Challenge TV or something remembers the Crystal Maze. The Crystal Maze was a game show in the UK where a team of people would run around these themed environments. There was like space, Aztec, swamp, jungle, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Crystal Maze, Wolfie. And they remade it really recently with Richard Ayoade. And they would go in, they would lock one person in a room, they would have to do a task and get a crystal. And each crystal that they earned was worth 10, 15 seconds in the crystal dome, which was just like this, those. Yes, Rowan, what can I do for you? Yes, wonderful. Those are absolutely brilliant cars. Do your thing, Daddy's busy. Go talk to Mummy. How's about that?
DD606 Eisenhorn is potentially in the works.
Oh yeah,
everyone
right. That even works better with.
I gotta listen to it once. Everyone suggested that.
Yes,
I have two.
You really do have to listen to Eisenhorn. Like it's not the Eisenhorn series is really, really good from a storytelling perspective. There's a couple of really lazy elements in it. and a couple of elements that not everyone agrees with. Yeah. But it is a really, really good series. Getting back to the Crystal Maze. So the Crystal Maze, the long and short of it is, the Crystal Maze was all of these like physical tasks, like, you know, like all these different sets and things like that. Games Workshop started out where they used to make the puzzles for the Crystal Maze.
Oh,
and they used to make the rooms. So technically there has been a Games Workshop TV show. It's just not anything like what you figure. With regards an Eisenhorn TV series in the works, when I was at film school, was around about the time that Ravenor came out, the very first Ravenor book, which is like the sequel to the Eisenhorn trilogy. Guess who, at the age of 17, called Games Workshop's legal department to see whether or not he could buy the rights for producing a TV show based on Ravenor? I will give you 3 guesses. My final project was actually going to be, because the reason I wanted to get the rights for it were like just that book in particular was like I didn't want all of the rights. I didn't want like, you know, movie and everything like that. I just wanted enough where I could make a final project piece around about 15 minutes, sort of like pilot thing.
Yeah.
Like for a web show or something, and make that to the best of my ability and have it on the internet without it getting taken down. Because I wanted to actually like use all of the you know, like use the dialogue, use the character descriptions, all that sort of thing. And that is where copyright gets really fuzzy.
Oh yeah.
And they basically said like, oh no, like even you know, like that's the thing with Black Library, like yeah, we have those, but it's going to be really expensive. We wouldn't just like give them out to someone willy-nilly at this point, like, you know, like especially since it's just released and we don't know who you are. Like you're not Universal Studios calling up, you're just a random dude at film school. I was like, no, yeah, like fair enough. So I did something else. But yeah, like it's really interesting. I know that there's a bunch of animated shorts that are meant to be coming out, like short stories and stuff. Like we've seen teasers for them. There's like something with Blood Angels, where there's the captain of a Blood Angels vessel.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of other stuff, like something with a Kalidas assassin.
I'll check them out for sure.
Yeah, like it's only little snippets, little teasers at the moment, but it is coming. And Wolfie says, doesn't Eisenhorn learn a language that can kill demons? Not really. So the way that works is, if I remember right, it's Glossia. Or Enuncia. No, so Glossia is the sort of code language that Eisenhorn uses with all of his subordinates and people, and it's you know, sort of it's stuff like Thorn wishes Talon by midnight divided, like that sort of stuff. If you read the book and you go through it, you can kind of figure out what all of the different things mean. And you can actually get a sort of rough working knowledge of it, because essentially it's a code that Dan Abnett came up with. It does work, but he hasn't really gone into it in as much of a like contextual way as he could, to keep it simple enough where he can just like remember it and write it and all that sort of thing. Enuncia is the you know, sort of like the language of magic. And it's weird sounds that are barely performable by the human mouth, and in some cases completely not able to be pronounced by the human mouth. And it's the language of creation, so it's bending reality to your will through words, like, you know, singing something into existence, kind of like the Bone Singers, you know, the Eldar, almost. But it's like, you know, ripping reality apart, like killing someone with a single word. It's It's kind of like, you know, the Fremen.
Oh yeah,
The
from
Fremen in
Dune.
Dune, you
Yeah.
know. Like, it's you know, I think the only one who actually learns any of it is it Patience Kiss? No, it's not Patience. It's Kara. Is it Kara? Kara's the acrobat in Ravenor's retinue. Yeah. Um, so Kara learns a word by mistake because there's this big convoluted plot point of, you know, they're trying to like brute force find words um, of enuncia, and Kara reads one by accident and vomits. But she remembers it, so when she has to escape from a prison later on, she says that word, ends up with her mouth bleeding, but it like incapacitates the guards. Which is like it's a really funky idea, right? It's a really cool idea. I absolutely love it. As like a plot device and stuff. It's got some really interesting like places you could take it. But yeah,
When did
it's
the
funky.
first book in that series come out? I know it's a
Oh
long.
god,
It's
the
got to be a
first
while.
Eisenhorn book came out. If I remember right, the first Eisenhorn book came out at the same sort of time as Inquisitor was released, the 54 scale
Oh, okay.
skirmish. So 2002,
Somewhere in there. Yeah,
2003,
early
somewhere about that. I
2000.
can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but around about 2000s, like very early 2000s. Because I seem to remember it was something like they'd sculpted the miniatures and sent their, you know, sort of like briefing pack to Dan, to yeah, they'd sent a briefing pack to Dan to write short stories for the rule book, I think.
Okay.
And he got really taken by the Eisenhorn sculpt, which was like this really grizzled old man with like, you know, like leg braces and like
Yeah.
7 coats.
Of
Just all this
course.
sort of stuff. And he was like, no, you know what? I can write something with this. And he did, and it was awesome. And then, you know, people have been working on stuff after that as well, which has been pretty good. Yeah, it's a really it's a good series. It's very easy to get sucked into it. Gaunt's Ghost by Dan Abnett is another really good series that
Yeah, I heard
is
that one
very
mentioned quite a few
sprawling,
times
but
too.
you can, like, especially the early books. I really like the early books. When they started getting into you know, some of the more odd stuff later on, kind of got a little bit turned off from it.
Yeah.
But those first 3 books, which is First and Only, Ghostmaker, and Necropolis, oh, so good, so good, so good. Those are awesome books. Um, just like following the Tanith First and Only as they go on is, yeah, it's really good. Considering the Guardsman's average life expectancy on the battlefield is like, you know, 17 hours or whatever it is.
That's like, I always just love the concept of the guard. They're like, it's just such the meat shield. You know what I mean? It's like the poor
Yeah.
guardsman. It's like, here's a gun.
If
Like,
you
there's a
if you
Titan.
get
Good luck.
chance
It's
if you
like,
get
yeah,
chance to read
over
the
that hill.
Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer,
Over that hill is all of hell. Good luck. Get in there.
yeah,
Give him
yeah,
a good scrap, boys.
yeah, like, okay, you're all gonna die, but you know, in mashing yourselves through the meat grinder, you might clog it a bit. You know, like
Yeah.
strangle the enemy with your entrails,
Just try
because
to
that's all that's gonna be available to you.
wedge your bones somewhere that will hinder their war machines.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Thanks, Commissar. I guess
Yeah.
you don't want to be executed for being a coward, do you? Like, you may survive if you go over and face the enemy. You'll definitely die if I see you. It's like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
which
we've been an
is
hour and 35 minutes. I can't believe. Thanks everyone for joining. I think we'll probably end up wrapping it up here shortly.
no, yeah. Like if you do, I've got my I've eaten one fry, so
Right.
I should probably
Oh,
do
you got.
something about actually eating something, but distracted. And for all that I said I was going to do some video editing, I've done a little bit and then sat here chatting for most of
Well, that's how we roll. That's okay. That's what, and it's our test stream. So
it.
like, I
That's how
figure over
we
the
think.
next while, I'll learn. I got to have some people on and like, just figure out what. I don't even watch that much YouTube really at all. I never did. So it's like just the concept of what makes an okay live stream is somewhat foreign to
Mm,
me. So I just did, some mild research out. You passed along a couple of like good clips, and then I have, caught more people doing like painting stuff and all that. And I'm trying to figure out what I think would work for me. So it's been a lot of fun. So it's like, I'm glad you joined too, because it's like, I even never saw this side, like the editing part of what you do. So that's been good. And I hope the paint over came out okay. I think it's all right.
oh yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks
It'll look
pretty
good.
good.
I have a whole bunch I have to print still. So I still have a whole bunch that I printed and I never hung up yet. And I'm like, oh man, I got to mount them and like hang some of these. I always like seeing them in print. It makes it more real.
Yeah, yeah. I like. Oh, yeah, I like the minute that you start sending out like prints to people and people start framing them and stuff. Yeah, that's
I
gonna
got
be
to
a
get
good
some.
day.
There's been some out that they have framed. I got to get some more decent pictures of those. I
Yeah,
got
there
to ask
was.
some people to do that because I'm
Was it
sending out some
the?
more in the next
It
couple
was the
days
biker
too.
chaplain.
Oh
Biker
yeah.
chaplain. Yeah, there was a biker chaplain that someone got a commission of for their
Oh
partner's
yeah,
birthday, I
that
think,
was a
and they
cool one to get
framed
as a
that.
Christmas
Yeah,
gift.
that was really nice.
Right on. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I think I'm going to end it
Yeah,
here. I
yeah.
will.
Thanks for sticking with and watching and all, everyone.
I'm going to play one more time lapse of this one.
Yeah, do it.
I like the time lapse. It makes me look like I like efficiently did it. It's like all nice and
Yeah.
fast. So even if I like stuff, like sometimes I would do them by myself and I'm pausing like a half hour and then get back to work and then you're like working on it throughout the day. But when you hit time lapse, it's like, oh, I just did this and this and this and look how quick.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Look how
Like
great.
it's
Look how easy
it's
that is.
another reason why I like video editing because you can do all of this little work and you can do like little bits every now and again. And then you put the video up and people go, "Oh yeah, that's really cool." It's like it took me a week.
I it's like especially
I
I feel for
kept
people
getting distracted by stuff.
who animate and they'll like animate like a 10-second clip and it's like, yay, that's cool. And it's like, oh my god, it's like a week
Yeah,
and
and
a
that
half
was
of
a
like
week of
slaving.
work. Yeah.
All right, all you have a good night. I think I am going to end it.
Yeah,
And
sounds
it'll probably
like a
be
plan.
on. I think I'll probably end up being on what tomorrow's Saturday, probably Sunday. I got like a couple people like talking to come on and stuff, and we will end up doing this again, Martin. So thanks very much for making it.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad I could be at least somewhat entertaining, and yeah,
No, you did great.
that opening
That's
was
what I have to learn
pretty good.
a rhythm with these of like talking and not. And someone brought up the point like maybe you could almost go like Bob Ross style with it.
Ah, you mean Bob Ross?
He's a legend. Have a good day, all.